3 weeks ago, I made this video about Brandon Harding and whether this year was going to finally be the year that he clinched that pro card he's been talking about for so long. Now we know that Brandon did watch this a couple of days ago because he posted a comment saying, "I appreciate your feedback, thanks for the motivation and opinion." That was the original comment, which he then went back and edited, adding, "I'll add that I'm only 25 years old. To say that this or next year will be my last chance is quite naive considering some people get their pro card at 35 to 40. Newsflash, Brandon, if you're still here competing trying to get your pro card at 35 to 40, you probably fucked your health up way more than the benefit. Granted, people get their pro card at 35, but their career span is then probably limited to about 5 years, because pushing anabolics and pushing this lifestyle into those kind of age brackets does not pay off long term. We've seen the consequences of this recently. Have you not been paying attention to the industry? But probably not, because Brandon doesn't seem to be somebody who might engage with a more serious side of bodybuilding, judging by his last off-season and how he spent it. If he did, he'd know exactly what I was talking about. Brandon then doubled down on his comments by posting this Instagram post. And this was yesterday. So he said, 1 year progress, both 10 weeks out, 7 pounds heavier than last time. So this is 225 versus 232 at 10 weeks out. He references the video saying, I say he'll never get his pro card, which is factually incorrect. I didn't say that. I said if he continues at this rate, he might never get his pro card. It's a possibility, Brandon. There's no guarantees in getting a pro card. Just because you have a good physique and good structure doesn't mean that you have the extra parts that are required in order to see that level of success. I'm not sure that I do, and nobody can until the point where they actually get that card. Did I say he looks the same? No. I said that he's probably gained a few pounds of muscle, that he's probably a little bit bigger everywhere. I was actually quite generous to him here because, to be honest, in the last progress pictures, it was very difficult to tell the difference. Go back and watch my video if you want proof of that. It's too late for him. I'm not sure what video he was watching, or whether or not it was mine or somebody else's. I'm starting to ask questions at this point, if it wasn't for the fact that he was deleting my comments on his Instagram, correcting his lies. I did not say any of those things. And this is something that irks me about people who watch the videos or watch the videos that you make. They often will only watch a snippet, because clearly Brandon is far too stretched throughout his day-to-day, as we saw with his level of commitment to bodybuilding. He's probably far too busy running his company and doing his Instagram posts to actually watch the video that I made before he chooses to respond. What I simply said is that he hadn't made the level of change needed to go from a quality regional level competitor to somebody who's a genuine contender at nationals. I said that Brandon has incredible potential, that I could see him on the Olympia stage one day, and that it's just disappointing to see him not commit. Did he choose to pay attention to that part? No. Now, I understand he's in prep. You're in a sensitive mental space where often you're battling with yourself when you get into the dog ends, but with all due respect, he's 10 weeks out and he's just starting to lean down, so I can't really credit it to that. But the fact that this is getting to him so much at 10 weeks out, that he's felt a need to post an Instagram post, that he's felt a need to include it in his recent YouTube video, and he's making such a point of it, deleting my Instagram comments. He just actually replied to another comment on the video about him today. So clearly, it's been on his mind for some time and he's been dwelling on it. It just suggests to me that maybe there were some facts that hit home there. So to clear all this up and to avoid any possible misinterpretations in future from Brandon, I just want to lay out what my point of view is. My point of view is that even if we give him this £7 or £5, which is in between the two estimates of £3 to £7, right? He still hasn't made enough progress. Do I believe that he'll be a pro one day? Maybe. Now, if it wasn't for the fact that I doubted his adherence and his, capability to commit to this, or I doubted the fact that he would ever actually take the proper time to grow, I would say definitely. If you just look at this guy's physique objectively, you'd say, of course he's going to be an IFBB Pro. But unfortunately, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And I'm not saying that he doesn't work hard. I'm saying he doesn't work hard enough. As I explained in my reply to his comment on my last video about him, I don't expect him to ditch his fucking multi-million-pound company that's building a strong empire, or to stop being one of the most prominent fitness influencers in the world in order to throw himself fully into a Dorian Yates-style bodybuilding off-season. What I do expect from him, however, is to make a mental decision about what is more important. His business and his social media will of course take up a lot of time out of his day. And to me, at the kind of size he is, where he's at that point where he needs to make that last push towards gaining the mass for his pro card, he can't afford to be spread so thin. Every time that you move the scale up, every time you get bigger and bigger and more advanced, it takes more for you to push to the next level. It takes a lot to cement in new weight, and you do really have to find another gear every damn time. It's there, it may be hidden, it may be hard to fathom how you can do more, but it's almost always possible. If he's saying, as he is, that bodybuilding and the sport of it is becoming more and more a priority in his mind and he's reflected on it, then he needs to demonstrate that in the next move that he makes, rather than doing the same thing, saying, oh, I didn't gain enough mass, oh, you know, I've got to take some time off, taking like 3 months of the year out straight after his contest to fuck about, as he did last year, didn't do his check-in, didn't get back to plan, just rebounded straight up, or didn't rebound, he just fucking ate and ate and ate until he got back to his last off-season weight within the space of like a month. Then he gets back to plan, but then he goes on holidays. You know, these kind of things may not be possible, and unfortunately I think that he needs a reality check. But more than him needing a reality check, I think his followers do. And this is the big thing that irks me with Brandon and people like him in the space. That does he have an incredible physique? Yes, absolutely. Does that mean he deserves a pro card? No. Nobody necessarily deserves or is guaranteed their pro card, or, you know, is owed a pro card. A pro card is something you're fighting so many people for. Everyone in this sport has that same ambition, and some of them are at that weight cap. Some of them have put in the extra work, the extra hours. Some of them have gotten up early to get their meals in before going back to sleep. Some of them have done the things that other people aren't willing to do in order to achieve it. And to speak in terms of undeniable in a competitive space like that is a little bit big-headed and a little bit arrogant, to be honest, from my point of view. I think that to really advance in this sport, it takes a level of self-awareness and reflection and objective criticism of yourself that isn't being displayed from Brandon right now in the way he's handling what I've said or what others may be saying about him in the space. And believe me, the whispers about Brandon Harding are growing. And it's not that people have any malicious intent. I don't have any malicious intent. You know, I'm sure that I would actually really like the guy if I met him, to be honest. And I think, as I said, he's got incredible potential, and I've wanted to see him succeed for a while, and I can relate to a lot of his struggles. But, you know, I just find his mindset disappointing, the way he's maybe dealt with those struggles long term. He may say he wants to change, and then next minute he's exhibiting behaviors which aren't indicative of a bodybuilding who truly prioritizes the sport above everything else. All I want to see is the best from him, and all I want to see is for people to give bodybuilding in the sport the level of respect it deems. And yeah, you know, people like Brandon set the standard for people who don't have any business talking about pro cards to do it. We see a wave of people now who classify themselves as bodybuilders when really they're just into fitness, and that's absolutely fine. You know, Brandon Harding could live the rest of his life as a fitness influencer and arguably probably do better than if he continued to compete and didn't place. Conflating that and professional or competitive bodybuilding, that's just a step too far. Now we're going to dive into his latest video where he does talk about my video and about his comparison that he posted to Instagram shortly. So let's get into that and see what he has to say about it.
Clenbuterol, that actually started, that's the only thing that actually has increased. We started at 40 micrograms and now we're on 60 micrograms. We are currently 10 weeks out, so 60 micrograms. It is quite soon to start Clen. Like sometimes on different preps I've started like 6 weeks out, 8 weeks out, 10 weeks out. We have started pretty much at the beginning of this time, especially considering where we started. Like I think I started like a little bit higher body fat than the last prep, and I actually compared my check-ins this morning. I'm going to put the two.
So he said that he started his prep this time a little bit fatter than the last prep. And when he posted the pictures of him starting prep, he was only 3 pounds heavier this year. Brandon, you just admitted you made no gains. Fuck me. Now, I hope that was a slip up. I really do. I hope that he didn't mean to say that. But, I mean, if that's the case, you're just reinforcing everything I've said here. Okay, let's get into the rest of it. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
Pictures right here. On the left is me 10 weeks out last year, and on the right is me 10 weeks out this year. There is exactly 7.
So what are the major differences I see? The major differences I see are a tan, a lighting and location, an angle, how you're taking the pictures. Has he gained some mass everywhere? Absolutely yes. Like, as I said in my last video, I even gave him like 5-10 pounds as like a way overestimation, just to be really fair. Like, I went out of my way to be fair about Brandon's off season. But realistically, the difference last time was 3 pounds. Difference here is 7 pounds. That's still not what we want to see. As we said before, it's not the level of transformation we needed for him to achieve that pro caliber physique. Because at the end of the day as well, he's got to grow beyond this point and he's got to become a competitive pro. If he's serious about being a bodybuilder, then he needs to bear in mind that, okay, you get your pro card now. Well, then you've got like 30 pounds to add before you can step on a pro stage and have any chance of a fucking shot.
10 weeks out last year, and on the right is me 10 weeks out this year. There is exactly £7 of weight difference. It's kind of funny because I watched a YouTube video, I think it was a week or two ago, where somebody said Brandon is never going to get his pro card. He's not gained any muscle. He's not really progressed on the off season. In fact, to quote, he said, I've only gained £3 of muscle and that's not going to be enough.
If you're going to quote my video, Brandon, quote it. That's what I mean. Like what he's done is he's watched the first 30 fucking seconds and he's then gone and made a video like straight away afterwards. So he watched it 2 weeks ago and he commented 2 days ago and then he replied to another comment today. Like clearly it's fresh in his mind. I didn't say that. He posted up 2 comparisons where there was £3 worth of weight difference. So I said, well, he's only made £3 worth of weight difference. I'm working with the facts you're providing me, Brandon. What I actually said in that video is, okay, he's had £3 worth of weight difference. There isn't that much of a drastic visual change. Maybe let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he gained £5. Hell, even give him £10, that's still not enough. He's still over £10 away from his classic cap. That is a quote, and that was off the top of my fucking head. You should at least be able to represent me correctly. You know, he's not talking about, obviously, who I am on my video and he's deleting my comments on Instagram because my video was fair. I gave him the benefit of the doubt and more than enough rope. But obviously, he's taken it as a hit piece. Now, you guys who know my channel know that that's not me. That's not what I do. You know, I'm here for the betterment of the sport. I'm trying to be fair. I'm simply, you know, trying to state the facts and talk about people who I think are putting out information that can sort of mislead people, really. You know, I'm not here to be a fucking Kenny Ko or a Nick Trigilli stirring up drama for the sake of it. But Brandon seems adamant on representing me as such. So, you know, Brandon, I hope you watch this video and watch it all the way through to this point to be able to then accurately talk about it next time. Or maybe just think about it.
I've gained £7 of muscle and the physique.
Fuck me. All right. You don't know whether you gained £7 of muscle. So if my statement was incorrect, that you'd only gain £3 because I was going comparison picture versus comparison picture, where, for the record, you just said that you were fatter in this year's comparison picture where you'd gained £3. So realistically, I should have said you gained nothing. But I took that figure and said, right, okay, £3 difference. You've gained £3. Hell, even give you £5. And he said, well, that's not true. And then he's gone and said, because there's a £7 difference in these pictures, he's definitely gained £7 of muscle. Hey, you're 10 weeks out. Like, there's a long way to go yet. And we always underestimate the amount of body fat we have to lose. But just contradiction central over here.
In terms of the fullness, I would say is like quite different. And I feel like I needed to see that because I was in a very vulnerable position this entire prep so far, with the fact that I haven't really been believing in my own capability or thinking that I should have progressed a lot more, all these things. And
so why did you use the caption undeniable this year, Brandon? You seem to be coming off like you know for a fact you're going to get your pro card this year. You're saying yourself you've been doubting whether or not you put in the effort. If you have those thoughts initially, I get that every bodybuilder, everyone who genuinely cares is going to, you know, there's a sense of body dysmorphia of, oh, I haven't really done much. And sometimes you need these reassuring pictures to make you feel better. And, you know, that's fine. Everyone has their emotionally fragile moments. But sort of a no smoke without fire situation. And I think the fact this is getting to him has clearly struck that chord that he was already thinking about it. I've just pointed out something he was already thinking about. And I understand he might want to vent onto, you know, what I've done for the situation. But there seems to be some truth underlying there. And I think that the best thing that can be gained is trying to learn from it, not trying to deflect or just trying to rebuttal it or ignore reality.
Seeing that 2 10 weeks out pictures and then being so different was really, really important for me to like help me stay straight and help my mind stay clear, and to know that we actually have made adequate progress and the physique we'll bring to the stage this year will be an entirely different package. There's also a year of muscle maturity, better posing, better flow. There are so many things that are going to be different this year.
It skirts over it after that point and goes back into his cycle. Different posing, different flow. Look, posing isn't holding you back, Brandon. Your posing has gotten better, arguably. I don't know. The side chest, I'm not digging it. That's not what's going to make a difference to get you a pro card. When you're over 20 pounds below your weight cap, weight and muscle added is going to get you your pro card. Posing is great to improve, and it's a constant journey, you know. Even Ruffin, I'm sure, and even people like that take the time to perfect, and they still criticize and they still tear it apart and find new ways to present themselves. But you're not going to suddenly transform your physique and suddenly add 10 pounds, 20 pounds visually by making tweaks to posing. Posing is there to outclass people who are of similar physiques to you. Posing is why is placed high at the Olympia. Posing is why Ruffin, although arguably doesn't necessarily have, the most incredible physique, is still a god tier Olympian. Because once you're at the point where you're all sort of at the same level, you're all about the same weight, right? What are you going to use to differentiate competitor from competitor? Well, it's going to be presentation, it's going to be shape, flow, it's going to be how they conduct themselves on stage, their presence. That kind of stuff is the margins that decides between the top three. It's not what makes a top 5 to 10 competitor suddenly in the running for number one. And if you're posing, if all that kind of stuff's improved, then doesn't that mean that visually, of course, you're going to look a little bit better? So you may be overinflating the amount of progress you've made. As I've said, this video isn't to say Brandon isn't going to get his pro card, although he may wish to believe it or tell his followers that's what I'm talking about. Not at all. It's just that we need to put out a realistic expectation of how much this sport takes, what level of commitment and dedication it takes, and not discredit those who are putting in the extra bit of work. And to pinpoint the fact to people that getting your pro card isn't this easy. It's not the case that you can gain 3 to 5 pounds over a year and come back 15 pounds below your cap, and if you've got the classic shape and flow, you've got it. Unfortunately, even in the golden era, mass still held important value. When you're going up against somebody who's 15 to 20 pounds heavier than you, it's going to show on stage, as it has in the past. What I want to see more than anything is for Brandon to commit, is for Brandon to take the time to add the mass, come back and shut people down like Blessing did. Blessing has done this. Blessing is more of a social media personality. He's more of a bloody TikTok fucking meme Instagram influencer, and that guy has come back and shown the world, no, I am a serious fucking bodybuilder. I just don't think you've found that balance yet. And granted, as you've said to me before, you're only 25. You've got time, but with the amount of time that you've invested into the competitive side of it already, 5 years of competing, the amount of times that you've been utilizing anabolics, your past history of irresponsible use, and the fact that this game is not a healthy one. There are dangers in utilizing these kind of drugs and holding this kind of weight for a long period of time. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the sooner you get there, the better, no? Does he want to be seeing these guys coming up below him, getting bigger than him, and then him still falling short of a pro card year after year because he didn't do what these guys are doing in taking the time to commit and put on the weight that's needed? I think he could get there within the next couple of years. Do I think that he will? I'm not even sure. If he continues to compete year after year, he's shortchanging his off seasons. And that small amount of time that he actually has in his off-season to grow, he's not using it effectively enough. Invest the time now, enjoy the lifestyle later, when you're winning pro shows and prize money. I hope you've gotten this far, and I hope that you understand now, Brandon, where I'm actually coming from, and I'll see you in the next one.